Okay, so we're here with another episode of the Gritty Hour, and I'm here with Sean E. Boy.
What's up, T? How we doing, brother?
How are you, Shawnee Boy?
Doing good. Another episode in the books about to begin.
You remember when you were up here in Millbrook and you did a podcast from the room upstairs? I'm in. First of all,
Let's talk
I'm in the downstairs of my store because it was an extraordinarily busy day today. We had the horse trials in Millbrook this weekend. So
what the hell's that?
Millbrook horse trials are like all the equestrian people from all over the country come,
right?
And they jump over bushes and rivers with horses.
Do you go see it or now? You're too busy.
No, I was crazy today, so I'm downstairs. I'm not in the. Can you see my fingers? Podcast room.
Are you behind the counter?
I'm in the front of the counter of my store. Yeah. I got a Gritty Hour sign back here too, though.
What did my stepmom sell you the pictures behind you? You got the goose.
Those are for sale if you want them. I should actually scan the store. Maybe I get some. Maybe anyway.
Maybe I'll buy them for my stepmom for her birthday.
So you're back in the northeastern part of the United States of America. We'll get to that in a minute. Uncle Steven's birthday was yesterday as we're filming this, and
he's 71 day.
Christy, remember I said we'll do this. We'll do a half-hour homage to my brother, so we wouldn't have to do Christina's thing. And here we are. We had to make a montage for that thing anyway, but it came out really well. She did a nice job.
Nice.
She worked very hard on it, and it really came out well. So you'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. My brother and sister-in-law, Tammy and Keith, they watched it. They thought it was great. I've heard a lot of good feedback about the Uncle Steve montage 30-minute birthday special.
I think there's a Keith when he was like 12 in that montage. A picture of Keith when he was like 12. So, but anyway, so your vacation was good down in Florida?
Yeah, down in the FLA. Vacation was exactly what I needed. I came in. I got to Florida like feeling stressed or like, over, I guess just wiped out from the school year. I will say that, I went through a breakup in a relationship in March. So I was just kind of like,
you really needed that time off.
Yeah, I just needed to get the hell out of here. And when I first got to Florida, it took me a minute to like find my rhythm. And then like the second week I found my rhythm. And then, cause I think you even said it, like I seem more relaxed now than I did when we did the podcast in Florida, because I was still like kind of coming out of whatever I was coming out of. And then, like just being able to like spend some time with myself and clear my head, it was exactly what I needed. So I came back feeling like chill. I'm in a chill space, which is good.
Well, that's good. That was the point of going down there. So you were successful, even though you didn't attain that status till you got back.
Yeah. Florida was the process to get me to where I needed to be.
Yeah. And you've been getting some golf in since you came back?
I've been back a week. I think I've played golf like 6 times. I mean, like next week though, I'll play, but the week after, I need, my body's starting to feel a little bit, because I'm waking up, I'm working out, I'm playing golf, and then like before I know it, it's 5. And
you're walking around the grass with a club in your hand takes a lot out of you,
Yeah. Well, because when I'm not playing, I'm practicing. It's a whole bit. But I'm finally. I injured my shoulder like 2 years ago, and it's been a tough. Because before I did that, I was playing very good golf. I was playing like in the 80s, mid 80s, and then like now I'm finally getting back to that. It's been a 2 years.
What did you do to your shoulder?
2019, I was boxing, working out, and playing golf, and like my shoulder my shoulder blade popped out, like they call it winged out, and then like my whole arm went dead. I had my rotator cuff was strained, and it was like the whole damn thing was like destroyed.
Oh yeah.
I didn't tear anything. I didn't need surgery, but he said it's gonna take about 2 years. It's been about 2 years.
So you go on the Masters Senior, whatever they call that thing, golf course there, and
I would, Uncle T, man. If I can go back in time at 3 years old, I'd be like, teach me golf.
Yeah.
Teach me golf.
So you love golf.
I do. And it's something that,
do you watch it on TV?
I do. I don't watch, not like, like the way I watch the Mets. Like I'll catch the main tournaments, and if I got nothing going on, I'll watch because I understand the game now, so I'll watch how they play.
It's boring. It's boring to watch. I'm sorry.
If you don't like golf, if you don't like really like have like a love or liking for it, like yeah, watching golf, I shoot myself. But
See,
I
I'm not big on golf, as you know.
Yeah.
I admit that, and I'm not big on car racing either. But at least when you're watching car races, there's always the potential for an accident you don't have during golf.
yeah. No, golf is. I think golf is. It's watching like the purity of like a great shot. And like they do it so consistently. That's the part. If you play enough golf, like to be able, like obviously the Tiger Woods, but every single golfer that plays in a tournament for the most part, they're hitting like shot after shot. And that's fucking hard in golf to consistently keep hitting a great shot that gets you down, down to the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
I interrupted myself at the beginning of this podcast. I was saying when you were up in Millbrook and we did a podcast in the house.
Yes, the live.
We were talking about the who, the Mets, and we were talking about mentioning the Mets because it doesn't come out for a few days after we do the podcast. Podcast doesn't come out, and you knocked on wood. Well, you should have knocked a little harder, Sean.
Oh my God.
You should have knocked on wood with both hands.
30 minutes ago. So Friday morning I woke up, we're in first. Now, the way the Braves going tonight, we're going to be in third by the end of tonight.
Wow.
I mean, we're a game and a half behind Philly because they just beat us. We'll be a game behind Atlanta. It's not like, and we're losing 5-0. We have 2 hits the whole game. 9th inning, we hit back-to-back home runs. But like, it's the 9th inning. Like, like you're waiting too long.
For anyone who happens to be listening or watching, we're doing this podcast at about 8:30 at night on Saturday. August the 7th today.
9th, I don't know.
Today's the 7th. Yeah.
So
the Mets fell out of first since you came back from. They were still in first when you got back from Florida.
Man, like I saw it. This is the All-Star break. I'll tell you when I knew we were fucked. Or that I shouldn't say fucked because you never know. Maybe they bounce back and they find a rhythm. There is 59 games left. It's not like they're a game out. It's not like it's crazy. We're playing the Pirates. We played them 4 games before the All-Star break, 3 games. Now, this is right in the beginning of my trip to Florida. They play 4 games against Pittsburgh before, and then 3 when the second half starts. That's 7 in a row, right? Right. We go 3-4 against them. Right. I said we 5 or 2 or better.
Say that one more time. You won 3 out of 4 against them?
No, we won 3. We lost 4. We won 3 out of the 7.
Oh, okay.
So we went under 500 against the Pirates, who are one of the worst teams in baseball. And I said, this is good. We lost games like we were up, like the type of game you're up 6-0. And it's like the 8th inning. You're like, yo, all right, let's make some brownies. Let's back it up. We're golden, right? You come back, it's the bottom of the 9th. It's 6-5, it's 6-6. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. And what do you attribute this collapse, be it temporary or permanent? What was
there's 3 things. They haven't hit all year, and it's catching up with them because now it's catching up with them. So that's one, but one it's connected to 2 is our pitching is not having the ground now. Like over time, you're feeling it. Like you don't have that stopper every 5th day to like restart the momentum. Like you're asking. Really, our second best pitcher is like a 3rd pitcher out of a 5 rotation.
Yeah, and do they have a shot at getting what's the guys with the Thor? What do they call him?
Him and DeGrom.
Syndergaard, right?
He might be back in September, but like he hasn't pitched in 2 years. He might go to the bullpen the rest if we make a run, which would be interesting. And then the 3rd factor, and some people may not agree with me, but Francisco Lindor has been hurt for a month now. And he is our captain. I know it's his first 6 months with the team, but he's the leader. And not having him on the field, they're starting to really feel it.
See, not really following him this year. I had heard he was like a pariah in the clubhouse.
From who?
I thought he start some kind of trouble in the clubhouse earlier in the season.
Oh, that was him and McNeil. It was like your normal, like they just had a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like he's adored in the clubhouse. Like he's the leader.
Oh yeah. Well, didn't they pick up a shortstop at the trading deadline?
Yeah, we got Javi Baez, who I don't know what to make of him, man. His defense, he's obviously a great baseball player. He's got like all the skill sets, but he's the poster boy of what's wrong with baseball today. Like one game he went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, and the next game he's like 1 for 3 with a homer. Like he's so like you're either getting nothing or you're getting like a big bang from him. But like he swings he's up a plate. It's a 2-0 count. I'm like, dude, they could throw it to the backstop. He's swinging. Like he has like it's 2-0. He's like, all right, it's 2-0. It's gonna be fastball down the pipe, and like they don't do that anymore. Like the baseball, like where they would just throw a fastball over, that doesn't happen anymore. Right, so they just keep throwing like breaking balls, and they keep bending on him, and he keeps swinging, and he strikes out.
So he's not fundamentally sound offensively. And what about defensively?
He looks good, but then like I've seen a lot of shoddy throws. Like at first I'm like, oh, he's better than Lindor. His arm is. Remember Sean Dunston?
Yeah,
same type of arm, bullet, cannon. But like Alonso's scooping a lot. So I don't know if he because of his arm, he doesn't step into it properly, because my arm's so good, I don't need to fundamentally like throw it to first. I just whip it to first, that kind of thing. So I like Lindor. I'm like, now I've seen like a good 2 weeks of Baez. Lindor's a better.
So he's got a rocket for an arm, but he's not accurate to first.
Of what I've seen so far, I've seen 3 errors in a week. That's a lot. For like he's the Gold Glove from last year. It's not like he's a Gold Glove shortstop.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, dude, I'll take Kevin Elster right now. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was just maybe we were little smoke and mirrors, maybe little band-aids. We're plugging holes throughout the May and June, and like like who you are eventually will catch up to you, and that becomes who you really are. You may have like moments, but
maybe the strategy. I guess the only strategy that would make sense now is to hold on till September. Get some of these guys back and maybe make a run.
Yeah,
September.
Like I said, we're a game and a half out. It's not, it's not the
no.
Yeah. So
you might have been happy if someone told you that you'd be a game and a half out on August 7th.
Oh yeah, like that's like perspective, right? Like so, like 2 perspectives. Perspective is in March. You're like, yo, listen, I just want to August 1st. Let's be in the hunt. Let's be in the race, and we're in the race. On June 1st, we're like 6 games up in first. So like, it's tough because then you have like the whole, well, for me, like what you talked about in the Uncle Steve tribute was about how like, 86 was the season when you were all in. Like I've been all in this year. Probably, because I did end a relationship and I've kind of just been chilling and hanging low. So I've just been watching the Mets the whole time. So I've been in it and like watching them at first place for 3 months. It was like 90 days they were in first. And then all of a sudden to see them like lose 3 out of 4 in Miami, they just lost 2 to Philly. You're like, oh, fucking Mets, man. They're exhausting, man. It's never, they actually, it's crazy. I was talking to my brother about this. Like there's been 2 seasons that I've seen where you knew in June 1st, you're like, oh, it's over. 86, you knew it was a lock that they were winning the division. And in 2006, you're like, oh, it's a lock. We got this wrapped up.
Well, 86, I remember was around. It was even before June, I think, that Whitey Herzog just acquiesced that the Mets were going to win the pennant.
Yeah, but like 2 teams, you're like, yo,
we're the NL East anyway.
We're gonna go to the playoffs and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually put that up on the screen last night in that game. I was like, oh wow, like so, other people are thinking the same thing. Like it's never like they just don't seem to find a way to like they built the lead this year and they couldn't like keep building on it. And the Braves are getting hot now. All signs are important. Right.
What kind of a season is Alonso having?
It's 250, 24, and 68. His OPS, which is a big one on base plus.
Why is he only 68 with 24 homers? People aren't getting on base ahead of him?
We're the lowest scoring team in baseball. Yeah. Actually, we're the second lowest. Sorry, the Pirates are arch nemesis this year. We're averaging like 3.4 a game. And
who's the leadoff hitter for the Mets?
Nimmo, and he's like old. He's an old-fashioned leadoff hitter. I like him, and he's a good leadoff hitter. But he's looking for the walk in an era where there's no such thing as rallies anymore.
No such thing as what?
A rally. Like you're not going to get 4 hits in a row. Like it just doesn't happen anymore. Like,
oh, okay. Yeah.
Like it's either you're gonna get a double and a single, or a double and a knock. Like like very rarely you've seen like the merry-go-round of a baseball lineup. It doesn't really happen too often anymore. So like a walk is great in the first inning, but he's still trying to do that in like the sixth. I'm like, yo, you need to get on. Like you need to rope a double right now. Like a walk isn't helping.
Yeah. Well, I know stolen base is out of vogue in baseball.
We were a base stealing team ish.
No, I mean, generally in baseball for the last dozen or maybe 2 dozen years, the stolen base hasn't been an overly used weapon as it used to be.
No. I mean, the days of Ricky Henderson and Vince
And I
Coleman.
don't understand why, because catches haven't gotten any better. And
It's still the league average is still 24%. It's not like
yeah, so you would think stealing would be a well-used tool, but it doesn't seem to be.
So the Mets in the last 10 are 2-8. They've left, not counting tonight because I don't know the number, but the last 2 games in Miami and Philly last night, they left like 35 guys on base.
Yeah.
That's absurd. And not once did they try to steal a guy from first to second to like make something happen. I'm like, you gotta. They're like waiting for something to happen instead of that's the best way to put it. They're waiting for something to happen offensively instead of trying to make something happen.
Right.
It's like you're waiting for like the perfect pitch to crank over the wall. Like it's not like you gotta, slap a shot down to the opposite field. Like try, do something different because like what you're doing is not working right now.
Well, based on what you're telling me now, I'm reminded of an article I read. I forget where it was about this. This was in the spring. Excuse me. In fact, it was towards the end of spring training. They were saying this could be the best offensive team the Mets have ever fielded. And now I'm hearing this. So I'm following the Mets only vicariously through you, Sean.
And I'll say this. So in March, like the question mark was the pitching staff, and rightly so. But if you look at the stats, if you look at this and listen, Mike Conforto he's my guy. He's a homegrown Met. He's great. He's in a contract year. He's one of the guys that hit a home run in the 9th, but he's batting like 200. Like he just doesn't get it done consistently.
Yeah.
There's a guys on this team that just like Nimmo, he doesn't consistently get it done.
Well, when you say Conforto's a homegrown Met, you mean he was signed and came up through the system?
Yeah. He's DeGrom, homegrown Met. Syndergaard was a trade, so he's not. Like I'm talking like from the start, homegrown. Syndergaard did come up through the minors, but like I think, and I'm not an expert, but after 2020 last year, no one's talking about it. There was the same problem. They couldn't fucking hit. No, like I don't hear anyone in like the announcers, radio, and no one's talking about how like this is just a repeat of last year, how they couldn't get big hits in the big spots.
Yeah.
And it's literally the same thing. I'm literally watching the same season 2 times in a row. Like,
well, it sounds to me like one of the problems could be they don't have enough guys on the team that are clutch.
They don't have it. I don't know. I'm not seeing. Listen, Conforto has been clutch. Like he's been a pretty clutch player. I'm not. Alonso's had some clutch moments. McNeil this year has had some clutch moments. There are some clutch moments, but it's just like. I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is, but the manager and they're all just like, they're going to get it done. Like it's going to click. It's August. What's today? August 7th?
August the 7th. Yes.
Like we've played 110 games. Like you have more than a baseline. Like it's not working for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault. It's just not working.
Yeah.
So we can do.
Well,
that's my Met rant. I don't let that out, man. Let me tell you, I played golf today and I got off the course. I'm like, I'm going to check the score. All right. I look at the score. It's 4-0 Philly. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, who started today?
The rookie, this kid McGill. He's good. He's a rookie. So like, but I looked at the box. It was bottom of the top of the 6th. It's 4-0 Phillies. The Mets had 1 hit. Guess who had the hit?
Michael? No, I don't know.
The pitcher.
Really? Well, It sounds to me like they don't have any guys, clutch guys.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I mean, what are you gonna do? It is. I mean, it is what it is. Either they find a 6 week rhythm or they don't.
Well, they might surprise you, Sean. Keep
Yeah, I
the
hope
faith,
so.
my friend.
I haven't lost faith yet.
You gotta believe. I heard somebody say once.
It's been an awesome, it's been a fun baseball season for me just to watch. Like I've kind of just been like in it, which is cool.
Well, there's worse things to be in.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's fucking baseball. It's not, I'm not gonna like lose my shit over it. It is what it is.
So this week coming, I know we have a guy coming in.
All right, all right.
He had talked about changing the subject abruptly. Enough about you. How am I doing?
That's okay.
We have a guy coming in, and you said you were coming up, so I got to figure out.
Yeah, Thursday, right? 100%.
Thursday coming, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there.
I got to figure out because we've laid our cards on the table in terms of our ineptitude in the how the hell this thing works. I don't mind. I don't mind telling people that I'm still learning how to do this.
Yeah.
But well, we're both learning. But anyway, so it'll actually be two. See, I did one podcast with two people sharing a mic, and I had the other mic. Okay. Now Thursday coming, and I think I'll achieve. I think I'll figure it out by Thursday. It only gives me how many days, right?
What's today? So you got 5 days.
Yeah, I do have more microphones, but how do I do it is what I got to figure
You're
out.
looking for like space, like where does everyone sit?
No, it's
Oh.
about microphones and sound more than anything else.
Okay.
So I use a preamp. It's
A pretty amp.
preamp.
Oh, preamp.
What'd you think I said?
Pretty. I'm like, oh, pretty amp. All
Well,
right.
it's kind of cute.
Is it bedazzled?
It bedazzles. It's red. And that's what I plug my mics in, and then one outward thing into the computer, which I record from the preamp. I set the levels on the preamp, the whole 9 yards. I don't even know if it's called a preamp, but I'm calling it a preamp, so screw them.
Do it.
And so when you come up, we'll have to, do that, and then add another USB connection directly into the computer with the third mic, and it may or may not work.
Okay.
But I'll do a couple of test runs between now and Thursday and try and iron it out. We'll get down to it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, listen, you've been making it happen, so I'm not worried about it.
The worst possible thing is you'll sit in the third desk on Zoom. And then I'll record you.
By the way, can we please talk about, you got a fresh haircut? Look at this haircut.
Me?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, there's a guy in Pine Plains, which is not far from.
I know. I'm aware of it.
Pine Plains. Well, there's a guy who's he's like a antique barber, if that's a right term. He has the old fashioned, shop in the thing, and he has the old barber's chairs. He's actually like the head of the Vintage Barber Society or some sort of antique barber society.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So in the country. So
does he have the swirly thing on the outside?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's actually got two of them. But he's into antiques, and one of my dealers in the shop here, who always keeps it high and tight, told me to go over there with him one day, and he gave me a halfway decent haircut. And so this is the second time I went. It was a couple of 2-3 weeks ago though. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm a little late on it.
I'm just glad I have hair. That's all.
Listen, at the end of the day, right?
Even though it's gray, and I used to joke like 10 years ago when I was like a little gray and mostly brown. I used to joke to the barber, just cut the gray ones. Ha ha ha. If I said that now, come out with a crew cut.
You'd be bald. Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, just as long as I have my, I think almost everybody goes gray at some point.
Except for Ronald Reagan, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, even he went gray at the end. Yeah.
I went gray young, man. Jesus Christ.
Well, my father had black hair through, I think he was like in his late 60s before he started turning gray.
Really?
As I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I have my
And God knows I tried putting Gray's hairs on his head.
yeah. I've had having like gray, now white, and I don't know what the fuck's going on up there, but it's been
You were gray when you were 14.
it's been a thing in my life because people are like, so I'll say two things. My first gray hair was 16 years old. I was like, it was like here. I was like, what the fuck is that? You know, and then by the time I was like 20, 21, like, you know, like it started to turn a little bit in my mid 20s. But then by 30, I'm like, fuck, man, like this is happening, huh? But like when you're 21,
When you were 16, I was like, what was I, 32, something?
something like that, probably.
And you know, I'll just say that's my older brother.
But when you're 22 and you're like, you know,
You had more gray hair than I did when I was 32.
I
is what
still
I'm
might
saying.
have more gray hair than you do now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but people people always comment on it, whether it's like, I don't know, they're just like, is your, like, I have students being like, is your hair always like that? I'm like, no, like when I was younger, like for like 2 years I had brown hair, but it was all right.
Yeah, I do remember you turning gray when you were still a teenager.
Yeah.
So I consider that a challenge to figure that out. Need to figure it out anyway, you know. So we could do that podcast, you know, with the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders that time.
That'd be amazing.
You coming up for that?
Yeah. I'll take over work that day. No problem.
Yeah, I'll figure it out by Thursday though.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd be great at it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to interviewing this fella. I don't want to say who he is yet in case he doesn't show up, you know. That always happens.
I'll do my homework.
You got his name.
Yeah, I still got my homework from the other guy.
He's coming too. He's recording, I think, with Lionel Richie, so he's a little tied up at the moment.
Well, tell him that Lionel needs to take up.
Yeah, the Goody Hour comes before Lionel Richie. I've always said that, especially after dancing on the ceiling. No offense.
You know, I have a Lionel Richie doormat, just, you know.
You know, I heard a song. Well, I know you know the song Amazing Grace. Have you ever heard Amazing Grace done by pipers? Bagpipers?
Maybe.
You must have.
Right.
Well, I heard a song. I don't know how I tripped over this. I was in YouTube hell. Did you ever go into YouTube hell? You go into watch one thing.
Spiral. You're
2.5 hours later, you're watching something that's completely non-related.
Yeah.
When you have the autoplay thing going.
Yeah, like you go in, being like, let me see videos on like comedians, and then you at the end, it's like a guy like in construction blowing buildings.
Yeah, you're listening to a lecture about bridge engineering. It's like, how the hell did they get here?
Yeah. But the crazy part is you're like watching it like you got into it. You're like, I don't know how I ended up here. But
and then you sit there and you watch the goddamn thing, and you're interested in bridges all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But no, I came across this video, and I don't want to mispronounce the. Anyway, it was Amazing Grace. It's on YouTube. Okay. I'll tell you the title of it. So maybe after this podcast, you maybe want to check it out.
Yeah. I'm also, as you're talking, I'm also looking up something about music that I wanted to talk to you about. But
are you a fan of the Killers, the band The Killers?
I've seen them live.
Did you like them?
Did they do the song "I Got Soul"? But
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I saw them at Jones Beach. They put on, like, I mean, listen, I was like 24, 25. They put on a good show.
Well, Kevin, you know, Rich's son Kevin had texted us a link to. Oh no, that was another song. Yeah, that song. They just came out with a new song called, I think it's called Dust Town, with them and Bruce Springsteen, which I thought was interesting enough. And as I just reading through the comments on YouTube, I guess it's apparently whoever writes the songs for the Killers' mother died a few years ago, and he wrote this song in her honor.
Yeah.
And Springsteen's mother's not doing well. It gives a little bit more clout to the thing. But anyway, he had texted us that link. It's not a bad song called Dust Town, Springsteen and the Killers.
Wow, that's cool.
Just came out a couple of weeks ago.
You still got like.
He's part of the.
All
But it's
right.
like, it's like that. I told you somebody texted me, or maybe it was you, texted me to Conforto throwing a guy out at the plate. Was that you?
That's me.
Okay. I can boycott, but I can boycott and still appreciate a good play. I'm not gonna be one of them guys like that play sucked because I'm boycotting it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was a hell of a throw.
But anyway, it's a good song. I gotta turn the light on. Not that I want the light on, but this computer's plugged in and the battery's running low.
All right, do your thing. While you do that, remember you told me, I don't remember when, but Joan Osborne, What Becomes of a Broken Heart?
Who?
Joan
Oh
Osborne.
yeah, yeah.
So I find like I've had it on my I have like thousands of songs on my Spotify.
From the Funk Brothers video, the Funk Brothers documentary.
Well, and that song is unbelievable.
Her voice is just phenomenal.
But the arrangement and like everything just come like by the end of the song, you're just like, woof.
Well, I always thought, you get that feel, and that's what I like the most about music is when a whole band just gets into a groove.
Yeah.
There's another one. Amnesty International had done a tour, and Springsteen was there, and Sting, Peter Gabriel's, a whole series of bands. This is back in probably the 90s or the 80s, probably the late 80s. And they did Every Breath You Take. And on the song, it was like, I think all of the E Street band, Springsteen's band, and all of Sting's band, and then Sting and Springsteen doing this song. And at the end, when they get into the Every Breath You Take, the over and over thing, the band just hit a stride. And I used to say this to Christopher all the time. Anybody who's ever you don't have to hit a homer, but if you ever hit a long shot with a baseball on the sweet spot where you don't even feel it in your hands,
yeah,
that's what I always associate with a band. They're all in this particular groove and they can feel each other's groove and they just riding this wave. And that's what that's like. So I think the band in that documentary that they did for the Funk Brothers, I think the band was getting into her vocals, and I think she was getting into the band, and it was like a feed off of one another. And, at the end of that song, it was just phenomenal. The band got into a groove. She was stretching her vocal cords, makes for a nice performance.
No, yeah, I was driving to I don't know, but I was in the car and I was like, like grooving it. As people are like, look at this weirdo. But like when you drive,
They do that anyway, whether you're singing or not.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I realize I'm like a car music listening, but like I'll jam out. I gotta jam out in the car, especially the songs like that Joan Osborne was. It was awesome. It was really good. And then
actually, this might fit your bill. It's I looked it up while we were talking, and it's if you type in on YouTube, the title of the thing is Amazing Grace with more than 200 bagpipes live in Berlin.
That's cool.
And the vocal, I looked up this guy, his name is Carl Ellis, and he's an American. So it's like a cornucopia of crapola in this thing. It's like the kitchen sink song. But his vocals are so haunting on this version of Amazing Grace. Do yourself a favor and give it a listen. 200 bagpipers. They got a band behind them. They got people marching. They look like I don't want to say, but his vocals were phenomenal. Well, because it's in Berlin. Yes.
Berlin. I'm about to say, I got you.
You know where I was going with it, but I stopped myself.
I've been to Berlin before.
Have you?
Yeah. They have
well, this looked like some sort of castle in the back. I don't know if it was prefab for like stage.
I was there for,
and there was like an audience on either side.
I was there for 24 hours.
Huh?
I was there for like 24 hours. And
you didn't go to any concerts?
I went to some beer gardens.
you made the most out of that 24 hours. Huh?
That was when I backpacked Europe. That was the first spot I landed, and my buddy was at a hostel. I'm like, I met up with him, and in Germany, you can walk around anywhere with a beer in your hand, and like for an American who's 24 and has only been in America his whole life, I was like, this is like so. It's cool, but at the same time, that means you're just drinking the whole fucking time you're in Berlin. Not sure what that means.
Yeah. Well, how was the beer there? What kind of beer did you have?
I don't remember, but the beer was awesome.
Yeah.
And then in the bars there, like they have, I don't really know how what the machine is called, but like a tap. Here you pull down there, you put it on the machine and just it's a computerized pour and it perfectly pours it to the top.
Yeah.
It takes like a second to pour it.
Well, all the big beers in the United States were all German immigrants that started those big breweries, as far as I know. German and Dutch, Pennsylvania and New York. Really, New York. The big beers that became famous in the mid 20th century.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Anheuser-Busch. They were out in, where the hell are they? St. Louis.
Yeah. I know they I think they sold their company to
a German company, right?
I thought it was gonna be a Japanese company, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But a quick side note with the music. So after the Joan Osborne song came on, it was either the next song or somewhere like, or the next couple of songs was the song "Sometimes" by James.
Oh, we were just talking about it.
Yeah, I know. And I listened to it and I jammed out to it. And I'm like, this is, and I gave like in my head a salute to Uncle Steve. I'm like, there you go, brother.
Oh, this is recently the Joan Osborne.
Yeah,
They're playing it on the radio now?
No, it's on my Spotify.
Oh, Spotify.
You told me to check it out. So I put it on my Spotify years ago, but I don't know if I ever listened to it.
Yeah.
Like, all the way through, because it's kind of like, like it's Joan Osborne. It's about like your broken heart, like, and maybe I wasn't in the right, but maybe now I'm in the right space for it. I listened to it and
Is your broken heart?
I maybe a little, but
No, it's the first time you hear it, you get goosebumps. Just her vocal performance just is that astounding.
The second half of that song is unbelievable.
It really is. Yeah.
Like, wow. All right.
Again, you can feel the gel. Like everybody on the stage is gelling at the same time. That doesn't happen every day,
No.
When you're in a band and you can feel the gel, like everybody can feel that. Everybody in the band feels that same wave at the same time, and that's not it's a rare occurrence.
Yeah, it's like when you go to a concert, right? In like certain concerts you go to, you're like, oh, it's a good show, but then there's the concerts where you're like, that concert was off the hook, and it's because the band was killing it. The crowd was like, the whole arena or place just like came together and just.
Yeah, it's not an everyday occurrence, and when it happens, it's a magical moment, really.
Yeah, it's special.
And the two things that stick out of my head, only because you just mentioned the Joan Osborne. There's a lot of instances where that happens, but that Springsteen performance, you could probably find that on YouTube too. You could see all of them guys. There's like two drummers, two sax players. Everybody's. There's duplicity all over the place, but they're all just jiving and it's and getting into that wave, and you can feel it.
I could see why you're probably a fan of Meatloaf, because that's his kind of, he has like a sound where like the whole band is in it.
Well, Meatloaf, at least on the studio recordings, the early, Bat Out of Hell and
I'm not an expert, but I'm aware of them.
Well, Bat Out of Hell, Dead Ringer was the second album. I'm sure you've heard Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Yeah,
You've heard Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah. But those are like
Max Weinberg, the drummer for Springsteen, was on the drums, and Roy Bittan, the piano for Springsteen, was on the piano.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So there is an East Street feel to that. Those two albums, East Street Band feel to that.
It's like, I feel like if you throw a saxophone into a group, it changes everything. And I feel like a saxophone is like a game changer to a sound.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah. It's funny. Amazing Grace. Getting back to this for a second. If you listen to the Dust Town, it's it's a good song. Killers, Springsteen. But this thing, and this came out of left field to me. It's the first time I ever heard it. I think it was the Royal Scots Dragoons that did my favorite version of Amazing Grace. Starts out with one piper and the rest of them come in, and then a little orchestration on the third verse. There's no lyrics. And then I've heard, because I think it's an American Negro spiritual is the origins of that song. Although I don't think anybody's credited with writing it. They don't know who wrote the song, but it's just been passed down. But it's an American song as far as I know. So this guy, Carl Ellis, who I looked him up. He's apparently a preacher from America, from the United States. What the hell he was doing in Berlin with 200 bagpipers? I don't know how he got there, but I swear to Christ himself, it was well worth the trip, because it really, you got to give it a listen. Or who anybody else who happens to be watching this or listening to this podcast, do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and just type in Amazing Grace with more than 200 bagpipes live in Berlin.
Yeah.
Carl Ellis is the singer.
Well,
And, I don't know.
I'm typing it in now just so I have it on my thing saved.
Yeah. It was posted 6 months ago, and it's got just under 500,000 views now. So, I just think this guy's voice I think he should be more famous with it, with that kind of voice. It's like the Hootie and the Blowfish theory, Darian Ruckus,
What's his name?
Dump those blowfish. Well, yeah, you're a great vocalist.
What's his name? Clive?
Who?
The bagpipe, Amazing Grace.
Oh, the title you want to search, the search you want to put in? I think I found it comes up first when I typed in Amazing Grace Berlin.
Oh, yeah, here it is. This guy.
That's the man. That's Carl Ellis.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor and listen to that after this. And
Yeah.
I think you might be pleasantly surprised. If you have the ability, without getting evicted, of putting it on 9 or 10, the volume, that might
Yeah,
help.
well, it's the summertime, so if I do it at like 11 in the morning, everyone's at work. So actually, I could do that.
Plug it into them headphones and let that thing rock. I'm telling you. Well worth the trip.
By the way, you have to wear a mask again at work?
Oh, well, everybody that works here has been vaccinated. And whatever the hell that new strain is, which I think is called let's make up a new strain to get the people unvaccinated vaccinated.
Yeah, that's kind of how it
Get 'em
feels.
into
But whatever. I'm not
Yeah,
trying
to scare them into getting vaccinated.
Right.
Whatever it is, so more and more customers have been coming in with masks, even ones I know have, regular customers I know have been vaccinated. So to make them more comfortable,
Oh yeah. No, this
we just started it yesterday, actually.
customer is always right, or is that theory gone?
Well, I mean, in all seriousness, whatever the reasoning for bringing it back, I'm not going to get involved personally, but I'll acquiesce to it because,
Gotcha. So, when I was in Florida, I didn't see one soul with a mask on.
Yeah.
But everyone's chilling. Everyone was chilling down there. It's fun.
We're fine here too, but you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's not, number one, it's not going to kill me. Number two, you can't see at least 2 of my 3 chins.
Yeah.
And number 3, it won't last forever. So
There you go.
yeah.
There you go. Because I just realized it like 2 minutes ago. I'm like, is he wearing a mask?
Does he have a mask on, or does he have yet another chin?
Strapped around his ears.
I got so many chins, I got to strap it to my ears.
There you go. But is that your store, that shirt? That's your store, right?
The shirt I'm wearing
Yeah.
it's the Millbrook Auction Center,
Nice.
which is also my
Yeah, that's you.
business, but we haven't done an auction in a while, but
Yeah. All right.
yeah. So yeah, we had a real good heavy day today. Like I said, when they have the Millbrook horse trials, it's an equestrian event, it's not like horse racing, it's
Yeah,
jumping
you
over.
said, yeah. I mean,
I think somebody told me yesterday it's called dressage.
yeah. The outfits they wear are interesting, right?
Huh?
They wear those crazy like black hats.
No, I think that might be polo. I don't know.
Or what like black helmet, like hat helmets. I don't even know what they are.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. They wear those things, yeah.
Yeah.
I never been to one, but what can I tell you?
That's for the equestrian. That what's called?
Equestrian, yeah.
Yeah, that's for the highbrows, man. That's
Well, there is a lot of highbrow. And they do. What's the word? Come into town in droves for this thing. So
yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's an expensive sport to get into. Like you got to have a horse first off.
Well, actually, we're talking about Springsteen. I think his daughter comes up here every once in a while for these things.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if She's here today. I would think, I don't know if she's on the Olympic team because they're in Tokyo, so aren't they? The horse people?
Yeah, I think is the Olympics over now?
I
Say-
have no idea. You want to talk about, you're not following anything. I have not followed 2 seconds of the Olympics.
Me neither. Yeah, the Olympics, like the opening ceremony, whatever day it was, I turned it on. And like you, like, or maybe I saw like a highlight of USA coming in. There's no one in the stands. It's like, like, like you're coming
No,
in.
that's because of the COVID over there. They have it in Tokyo too.
No, I know, and they're calling it 2020.
There's a lot of people who didn't want them to have the Olympics this year because of the COVID, but
They could have, but it's 2021. They're still calling it the 2020 Summer Olympics.
oh, it's delayed from last year, right?
Yeah, but like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's 2021. Like, it's okay. Like, it's not on an, it's not an even number. Like, it's gonna be okay.
Some guy in Japan said, "Fuck this, we ain't going another year."
Yeah.
Too much money on the barrel.
But I checked today. I checked for some reason. Every couple of days, I'll check the medal count because that's just something I do.
I haven't even done that, Sean. I really have no idea. I know there's some people wearing stupid crap on their heads, turning around for the flag. I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, no, I know. Trust me, I'm aware that that's not something you want to be part of. But we have 108 medals. China has 87, and then it just drops off dramatically.
Who has the most gold?
China's 38. We have 36.
Whatever happened to Russia? They were always up on.
Yeah, they're like fifth or fourth. They have 60, but like that's 108 to 6.
Well, the USSR was a whole ton of
Yeah,
different
that's
countries.
true. That's true.
It increases your odds when you have half of Europe.
No, it does, like that's kind of connects to like my basketball program where I coach at my school. We have a small pool of players, and then we play some schools where like there's like 3 middle schools that combine into one monster team, and like they're obviously really good because you get to pick from the
Bigger pool to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I haven't followed 1 second of it. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, me neither. I was just kidding because I asked a few people, and most people are like, "Nah, I haven't really been watching it." Obviously some people, said yes, but and it's on.
Has Russia won any gold?
Oh yeah. I don't have the medal count out, but I think they're around 20.
Because they've always, even Russia itself, Russia proper, if you will, even after the Soviet Union broke up, they were still good in hockey. They were still good in, well, hockey's a winter thing, but they were still good in gymnastics.
Yeah. So you have total. I'm just gonna do total. United States 108, China 87, Russia 68, Great Britain 63, Japan 56. Right, and then Australia at 46. That's the top 6, and then it drops off into the 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Russia. I want to go to Russia one of these days. I wouldn't mind going through Moscow, and
I would love to go to Russia. I'm sure it's awesome. Yeah, I'm
if
sure
everybody over there would be so kind as to speak English while I'm there, I'll be very happy.
I think they speak English there? I'm sure they do.
They speak English everywhere.
Yeah,
But I like Russian. I like Russian culture. For some reason, I don't know why. But
I took history of Russia 1 and 2 at college. So I don't remember much from
made
it.
you the man you are today?
No, I'm sure.
Did it end at the czars, or did it go into when it became communist?
The very cold and brutal culture though, in their history.
Very, very what?
Cold and brutal.
Well, they've had rough,
Yeah.
You got like a 6.5 hour summer over there.
No, not cold like climate, like it's a cold culture. It's like historically it's a cold and brutal culture.
Yeah.
They're it's like a tough culture, like
I'm sure there's warm-hearted people there.
Yeah, I'm talking about from in their history. I'm not saying today.
Yeah.
At least that's what that's how the professor taught it. So maybe.
Well, maybe one day in my it's pretty far down on the bucket list. I'm not gonna lie, but maybe one day I'll get around to it.
Yeah, because when we were, I know you too. Like during the Cold War of like the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. Like Russia and America. That was like the heavyweight match. At least that's what it seemed like.
That was Ali Foreman, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But it's an old Russian proverb, Sean. If it's your fate to be hanged, you'll never drown.
What the fuck? I'm laughing because it makes sense, and I don't know if it like should it make sense?
On the surface, it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never drown. You'll be dead still.
If it's your fate to be hanged, you'll never drown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
deep. Oh, it's deep.
It's like a fortune cookie.
It's gonna like 4 o'clock this morning. You're gonna get up, take a leak, and it's gonna hit you.
I'm like, yo,
wow.
He's got some wisdom. Well, I was gonna say in the 80s. Do you remember Rocky IV?
Actually, before you get into that, I learned that from watching a press conference with Vladimir Putin, and they were asking him about his security. Does he feel comfortable with his security? Does he feel comfortable with it? You know, the support he gets from the people, huh?
Wasn't he KGB?
He's ex-KGB, yeah.
He's his own security.
But he's the one that said that, you know, old Chinese saying. Forget, I interrupted you. Rocky beat the hell out of the Russian guy.
Oh, yeah. No. So, but that was like the height, you know, like maybe I didn't realize it then, but like, you know, based on what's going on in which it makes sense, obviously, but like what's going on in the culture of like America, they'll make movies based on what's going on. Like they connect, like people write whatever movies that connect to what's happening. And
that's how you sell tickets, my friend.
yeah. So, you know, which, you know, obviously makes sense. But, you know, when I saw the Rocky, when it came out, I was like 8 or 9. So I'm not thinking about, oh, this connects. But my dad took me, my brother, and my sister. I believe it was just the 4 of us. Do you remember? I don't know if it's still there, but Hawthorne had a movie theater. I don't know if you know Hawthorne.
I may have drove through Hawthorne once.
Yeah, it's in Westchester, but I don't know if it's still there, but there was a movie theater there, and we saw Rocky IV in the movie theater. And this is in like 85, 86 or whatever. Like that's the height of, like, that was a big moment for Russian American Cold War. And like when Rocky was fighting the Russian at the end, I'll never forget this. As the fight goes on, like the movie crowd is getting more intense. And before you know it, the whole fucking theater is like USA, US, like as they're fighting each other. And like when he beats him, the whole place like erupted. Yeah. And that's always like, and so when I was growing up, I'm like, yo, man, we need to take down Russia. Like that was like the thinking you got from that. You know?
Yeah, so I might be convoluting 2 separate instances, but I don't think so. When I was a teenager, we went to the Golden Gloves local Golden Gloves in the Bronx there. And during, like, towards the end, the guy came out in the ring and announced that the United States beat Russia in the hockey.
Oh, in 1980. Yeah.
It was pretty much pandemonium, at least in that part of the Bronx.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Have you seen the movie? I think it's called Miracle.
Yeah, I saw that.
Disney,
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah. They're doing the well, that must have been insane for, I'm sure, around the whole country. People were losing their shit after America beat Russia, and it was actually the semifinals. It wasn't even the gold. I mean, it wasn't the gold, which I think a lot of people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're doing like, I have this app. They're doing like the best sport movie countdowns. I know that we're kind of jumping from topic to topic, but that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Where the final 8 was like Miracle, Major League, which is my all-time favorite sports movie, Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams probably my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I think I watched that with you my first time I watched it. Yeah. Remember the Titans? Great movie. Slapshot. I think Slapshot was going against. No, Rocky was going against Field of Dreams in the final 8 or something. Final 4, I forget. Yeah. Not that a good sports movie like Miracle.
Yeah. No, that was a good movie. They did that very well. You know, they could have not done it well. You could see where it could easily have not been done well, but they did do it well. And
yeah.
Funny, I think only 1 or 2 guys from that team actually made it to the NHL. I think Roger Craig was like, had a cup of coffee with some team in the NHL, and then some other guy, you know.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's a name, but I don't know enough about like the history of hockey. Like,
No, I don't follow. Never did, but as I recall, I think two of them had cups of coffee in the NHL. So out of all that splendor, grandiose splendor and achievement, I think only two of them made it to the NHL. So
well, what makes up a great team in anything? Is it always just all the best players, or is
no, it's
something-
never always just the best players.
it's got to be this chemistry that like
Have that gel, the same gel as
that clicks on the field or the ice, whatever.
same gel as musically we were just talking about
Yeah.
a few minutes ago. Got to have that gel.
Same thing with
The one thing about Major League, which the first one, didn't they make 5 of them or something?
I just watched Major League 2 over the summer just to
Like
kind
the
of
Planet of the Apes 49.
just to kind of see what it was all about.
Let's run every dime we can out of this thing. But the first Major League actually subliminally touched on that, or subconsciously, whatever you want to call it, about the gelling of a team.
Yes. Oh yeah, and like really they rallied around something. They all had like a common
Goal, yeah.
and then like a common thing that they like that motivated them.
Yeah, and throughout history, you can have teammates that can't stand each other, but they do all strive for the same goal.
Yeah. If everyone's everyone's on the same page. I'll say this when bartended. Did you hear that? Oh.
No, I'm waiting for this. Whatever, even if it's an earthquake, I want to find out how you tie in bartending into coaching.
Oh, sorry, I was hitting something on my computer. So when I bartended,
You hear that?
yeah, something went through my headphones. I'm like, what? There were nights where like I bartended, I made the drinks obviously for the bar and for the restaurant, and all the waiters and the runners are the people who take the food to the tables. The waiters, like a nicer restaurant, like the waiters they take orders and serve the people, but there's runners who actually bring the plates out right when they come out, so they come out piping hot. And then there's the cooks and there's the sous chefs and like, but there were nights where when everybody was working in unison, and it was amazing. Like it was like we were just pumping out food and drinks to people, and like my restaurant used to get super busy, just pumping, and everyone was just like in a rhythm, and like you could feel it.
What's amazing is how you did in fact tie bartending into sports.
Yeah. I remember a couple of nights, like the night was over, and like we were all in our younger 20s too, so we had energy, but we were like I'm like, yo, we were flawless tonight. Like we didn't miss a beat. Like everybody was in tune.
Sometimes the flow, you don't forget, you put in the back of your head, you're getting paid, or you put in the back of your head, whatever your goal is, and you just ride that flow. You don't even know what the hell you're doing. You're just riding that flow.
Right, so,
And you look back on it the day after, it's like, man, that was damn good.
I heard something from, yeah, exactly. I heard something from Dirk Nowitzki. He's retired now, a Hall of Fame basketball player.
His name is Jerkin Whiskey?
Dirk Nowitzki.
Okay.
Yeah, Dallas
I like
Mavericks.
Jerkin Whiskey better, but
Jerky boys.
this is in my shoe, so I'll have that.
So I use this as a coach for basketball. Like basketball is supposed to be played at like a jazz pace.
That's 4/4 time, but go ahead.
Yeah, you get the
Yeah.
Okay, right. But like a lot of people want to play basketball like this. They want to play as fast as they can, and like, I kind of use that philosophy in like most things I do in life. I'm like, most things are supposed to be played at this rhythm, not this. So I don't know. Just that's what popped into my head.
Wow. Well, that might be might be a good note to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It was
it's been an hour. Wow, I didn't even realize.
It's always a fast hour with you, laddie book.
Yeah.
It's always a fast hour.
Oh, pretty.
So the juice is worth the squeeze.
Juicy.
And now I got, if it's your fate to be hanged, you'll never drown.
There you go, dude. I mean,
By the time we're done with this podcast, we're gonna come out with a book of sayings.
You're gonna have to buy a huge whiteboard and just jot them down.
action quotes for the day.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, so we'll see you in person. You're coming up in a few days, and
I'll be there Thursday.
my challenge now is to figure out how the hell to do that. But I'll either succeed or fail by Thursday.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right, Shawnee boy, you have yourself a good evening, lad.
You too. Always a pleasure on the Gritty Hour.
And good job you did on Uncle. Check out Uncle Steven's video.
Where do I find it?
Christina did an excellent job.
Is it on Facebook?
Uh-huh.
Is
Be
it?
talking about this publicly. And then check out Amazing Grace live in Berlin with 200 bagpipers.
Gotcha.
You'll be doing yourself a favor, but do yourself a further favor by squeezing that volume up to at least 8, 9, maybe 10.
All right. I'll wait till
As
tomorrow.
loud as you can get without getting it distorted.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Bagpipes sound distorted to begin with, so you'll be all right.
All right. I'll probably just plug this into my phone and just let it rip.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would do that immediately, if not sooner.
All right.
All right, Shawnee boy. We'll talk to you later in the week, sir.
All right, T.
All right.